Just quieten down, baby.
Per capita export value.
Library. Minister, are you embarrassed by your behavior today?
There's a lot of bleeding hearts around.
Do you have the fortitude or the gonads to stand up and come across here and say that to me, you son of a bitch?
Just watch me.
He certainly went too far, Mr. Speaker, when I saw him stick his tongue out.
Contemptuous disregard.
More than a slab of bacon talking here.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility.
I lost my temper. What is the nature of your thoughts?
The word was F-A-R-T.
Oh, big stretch, big stretch. Oh, my God.
Do you wanna
Stretching. I'm stretching my back because I'm an old man with weird back issues. Oh.
Cool.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hold on. I forgot to plug in my computer. Oh, God. And now I have to bend down. Oh, my back. Okay, hold on. Plugging in my computer. Welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring.
Jesse's really struggling. I'm Reese, and the person in severe back pain is Jesse Harley.
Don't get old, folks. Don't get old.
Don't get old like Jesse.
Don't get old like me. Yeah, hey. I'm allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say it.
You're over 40. I'm not.
Yeah, you just wait, buddy. You just wait. You're getting gray hair already.
I'm clinging on to my mid-30s, like somebody has let the pressure out of a passenger plane.
Okay, I have a theory on the whole. You just said you're clinging onto your mid-theories. I have a theory on how we should be naming our age, our aging. What are they called when you hit like a point and then you move past it? It's like a thing.
Like a big number, like a big birthday number.
You're in your 20s, you hit 30, and now you're in your 30s, like that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think, I may have already said this on our show. I feel like I probably have. Forgive us. We've done nearly 200 episodes, and I have not been conscious for most of them. From age 1 to 5 is pretty much just training. You're learning how to walk. You're learning how to not spit up every fucking 30 seconds. You're learning how to speak. You're learning blah, 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 all the stuff. Everyone learns the same shit.
It just sounds like me in my 20s.
Okay, that's weird Welshman. But from 5 onwards is when you start really developing interesting. You're learning new skills, learning likes and dislikes and stuff like that. So when you hit 10, nothing's really that different. You haven't really hit puberty yet. You're still a kid. But when you hit 15, oh man, that's when the good shit starts happening. So from age 5 to 15, the roller coaster
starts.
Right. So from age 5 to 15 should really be counted as the first 10 years of your life. Right. And then when you hit 20, technically you're an adult, but really you act like a teenager in every fucking way. It's only really till you hit 25 that you're like, oh, whoa, I really shouldn't have, spent all of my rent money in that casino, that sort of thing. And oh, wow, I can't eat literally nothing but Hot Pockets and potato chips every single night and just wish the fat away. It's around 25 that starts happening. So, from 15 to 25 is a memorable 10 years. And the same when you hit. I'm saying we should be measuring.
Until you're 15.
No. Well, no, I'm saying that we should be not measuring age from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40, but from the fives. So from 5 to 15, from 15 to 25, from 25 to 35.
I thought you were just trying to find a reason for the excuse of your age on online profiles being 15 years younger.
Jesus, man, no. Fuck, what's wrong with you? No. So I was going to end this nicely by saying you're not in your late 30s, you're in your early 35s, because your 35s go from 35 to 45.
It just sounds just like it sounds really.
And
sad
you took it to a dark fucking place. So there you go. That's.
It just sounds really sad when you say it like that. It makes it seem like I can't get over the fact that I'm running out of 30s. So I'm in my early 35s. Sounds like I've lost my grip on the fact that I don't know to accept my own aging process.
I think we have a number of audience members, listeners who would agree with me on this. So
Well, it's good. Actually, it's good that you were talking about age because this episode is very age related. Because of well, Jesse, have you been watching the conservative leadership race?
No, is that your segue? All right, that was
That was a good segue.
That was a good segue. Yeah, you should be proud of that.
And the reason I talk about age is there's a very young front runner of the leadership race. He's only 42.
I haven't been paying attention to this at all. Does that surprise you?
Well, he's 42.
No, that I haven't been paying attention to this at all. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I was counting on it. So
are we having an election coming up? Didn't we just have an election?
No, an election for the Conservative leadership. Remember Aaron O'Toole, Banana Bread Man?
I do remember Banana Bread Man.
He resigned, or he got kicked out after the last election, and now there's another.
Bad.
I mean,
as far as villains went, he was a good one. You know,
yeah, I think he was. I mean, he was. He could have been better. He could have been worse. I guess it was
a villain. Isn't he was a comical villain, right? If you want a true villain, you look at Jason Kenney or Rob Ford, but he brought a different spin to the whole villain genre. I liked, right? So
yeah, he was kind of like he looked like an accountant. He was kind of like a villain who commits accountancy-based crimes. So, but I mean, to be fair, he did win the popular vote against Trudeau. It's just that because of the way the Canadian system works, he won less seats in Parliament. So,
okay.
So more people voted for him. So, yeah. Obviously,
what are you trying to teach me? What are we talking about?
So, have you heard of
bored already? Jesus.
Have you heard of Pierre Poilievre?
Okay, so we share Instagram and Twitter, and I've seen you talk about him, or at least retweet other people, but I don't know who he is. And I was like, Reese is retweeting this guy a lot. I'm going to purposely not.
Well, I didn't retweet him
because retweeting other people talking about him is what I meant. So I purposely ignored it just so that knowing that you would tell me who he was.
He's like one of the most. He's quite young. He's very outspoken, and he was one of the Conservative politicians who sided with the trucker convoy protest thing. He was quite publicly meeting them and kind of going to the rallies and stuff. So he really grabbed onto that as and that's kind of when he became. He'd been quite prominent in the past because he'd had a lot of controversy, but he kind of was gearing up to on a national level for leadership, and he was trying to ride the movement that happened with that kind of Occupy Ottawa thing that happened in the winter.
So a whole bunch of people got really mad, and he decided to ride that wave of anger.
Yes, yeah. He's kind of like a pop, the populist leader. He was, he calls. He has a lot of dog whistles to kind of a lot of the alt-right and the kind of more far-right elements in the Conservative Party. So, and he's the front runner at the moment for the leadership race.
Barf.
Yeah. So, but did you want to know a little bit about him? He's got
some really, honestly.
Seriously, there's some really funny stuff about him.
I feel like it's just going to piss me off.
So, I mean, he's been drawing a lot of crowds. And I think even if it was just the trucker convoy people turning out to meet him because he was there, but he doesn't seem, you've got a lot of kind of, he seems so geeky in comparison to the kind of people from that convoy. He kind of looks like the kind of person who would, how does he look like? He kind of looks like the person who would spend $150,000 on a sex robot and then would go to court to try and win, to change the law so we could marry it. But then that robot would gain sentience just to file for divorce.
All right, keep going down this rabbit hole. I want to see where this ends.
That's it, I'm out.
That's the end of that story? Oh, come on.
That's how I described how he looked. But anyway, his nickname is Skippy. I don't know why. If you know why his name is Skippy, please tell us.
No. Not me, you mean...
No, I meant
our
like
audience.
The audience.
Okay,
yeah, the other person in the room, the audience. And I've got some great quotes from him.
That's creepy. I've never thought of that before. Our audience, they're just in the room with us, but not saying anything, just standing in the corner, staring at us silently. Yeah. Is that what you picture? Do you see that every time we record in your head?
Right now? Yeah. What's that film with Bruce Willis where he's actually a ghost?
Well, thanks for ruining it for everybody, Reese. Jesus.
Sorry, that was mainly that was the main spoiler. What's it called? I see dead people. It's like that. But he can only see ghosts. I just see the audience everywhere I go. And they haven't got horrific wounds or anything like in that film. Anyway, some quotes. This is one of my favorite ones. Wokes want to divide people. That's one of his quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. The other one is the main cause of terrorism is terrorists.
I mean, he's not wrong. That's
main cause of
hold on.
dogs.
Wokes want to divide people. I kind of agree with that, to tell you the truth. And by wokes, wokes is labeling a group of people, which in and of itself is divisive, which is funny.
But I define the whole point of woke is awake, as in when people say woke stuff, they're deriding people who are just trying to be nice to people who are maybe living slightly differently to them. It's become a negative thing because of people like him using it.
Dear Reese. Oh, sweet Reese.
So,
there are just as many angry conservatives as there are angry liberals.
But my point is that he's using it in a way of saying anyone who is kind of pro anything that is beyond nuclear family
is divisive.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's fine. I feel like that's going down a different rabbit hole. I will say that I have read many. I am pro equality. I am pro. Of course, I want everyone to feel free and happy and respected, of course. But the people who are shouting this angrily, who are making waves, they don't want to include. They want to divide quickly and get it over with very, very quickly. They want to divide it into you're with us or you're fucking against us. And they do so angrily and understandably why they're angry. But in doing so, they are divisive. It's just it's how they go about it. I've seen it 1,000 times. Not everybody is, but
another.
And that's not saying that the right aren't divisive. They're way more fucking divisive. Am I saying that word right? I don't think I am. Divisive. Divisive?
I'm just going to leave you stew as you try to get this out.
Anyway, I don't think anyone should be divisive. Please continue speaking.
So, another quote: "The race of the Canadian nation is freedom." I think I'm 3% freedom on my mother's side.
7.5 on mine.
Yeah, exactly. And then
that just stands for American people. That's all that means.
Yeah. And then the other one is the woke left goes crazy when people point out that undeniably.
Hold on. The woke left is what he said?
This is what he said. The woke left goes crazy when people point out the undeniable historical fact that National Socialists in Germany and Italy were, as the name proves, socialists. So it shows, which to me shows a very. I think he is smarter than that. I think he fully understands the complexities of history and why they used that term in their name, but he's just boiling it down to kind of talking points from south of the border that you get from like people like Alex Jones, those kind of things.
Also, in his mind, are the woke and are the left two different groups of people?
No, they're the same thing.
So, but he called them the woke left, meaning that there should also then be a woke right, which I really want to get into if that's what he thinks. That would be fascinating to find out more about the woke right. So is this episode just talking about how crazy this? What's his? I don't even know what his name is.
No. It's just.
I'm for that. I'm all for that. If that's what we're.
Oh yeah. It's just a little bit about his background. Some stuff I found out that I thought was quite interesting.
All right. What's his name again?
Pierre Poilievre.
Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, right. You don't know who he is. You never heard about him, but he thinks he's going to be prime minister one day. That's all you need to know.
Honestly, like Poilievre sounds like an ointment.
Poilievre.
Like, it does, doesn't it?
Or it sounds like something you fill holes in on the wall with.
You fill holes in the wall with ointment?
No, with polyfiller. Okay. But it's Poilievre. It's polyfiller that lasts forever. Poilievre. Anyway, he also used a racist term in the House of Commons. I don't know if I want to say it. It's not a very nice one.
You could spell it.
Tarbaby.
Oh, geez.
Which isn't not very nice.
No.
Yeah. Also, apparently, he's one of the richest politicians in Canada. His website claims he's worth $9 million, but I can't verify that. But it rated like the net worth of lots of different politicians in Canada, and he was at the top, near the top, at $9 million.
Good for him.
A little bit about him. He grew up in Calgary, in the Southwest riding that was once Preston Manning's riding. So he was from the Reform Party, which was like the more kind of socially conservative part of the Conservatives.
All right.
So, and as a kid, he grew up in the riding that was eventually represented by Stephen Joseph Harper.
So, all right.
And as a kid, according to Wikipedia, he was a competitive diver, wrestler, and hockey player. But he was really into politics. At the same time, exactly. His wrestle, dive, hockey was it didn't catch on.
Oh, I thought you said horseback riding because that would have been really funny.
No, it's really funny. It's hockey, horseback hockey. It's a new sport.
It's called polo.
But he was one of those people who was really into politics from a young age, and he was basically a youth member of like the Reform Party of Canada, so the socially conservative part of the party in Canada. At 16, he was selling memberships for Jason Kenney for the Reform Party.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, how
what were
old
you
is
doing?
Jason?
What were you
How
doing
old
when you were
is Jason-
16?
How old is Jason Kenney?
Jason Kenney. How old is Jason Kenney?
97 years old.
Well, he's older than, because Pierre Poilievre is only 42. Jason Kenney is 53.
All right. I guess
So-
that's not that entertaining of a
Yeah.
subject to talk about.
How old are people? So, but also as well.
Hold on,
So-
can we like do a little segment? You put in some music, some intro music, put in a reverb over your voice for like, how old are people? And then you just like blandly list off people's ages
Yeah.
for 5 minutes. Just-
100 people with 100 ages, and they're in the wrong order. So he also
so
campaigned.
that's a no. You're not going to do that, is what you're.
No, I'm not going to
You're
do
not-
that.
okay,
No.
all right.
I've-
That's
so
just
when you were-
throwing ideas at the wall, seeing what sticks here, trying to keep our
I know.
podcast nice
Well,
and
when-
alive. You know,
Can I ask you a question? What, when you were 16, what were you doing most of your time?
riding bikes and playing Nintendo.
I was mainly
Mortal Kombat
playing-
on Super Nintendo, buddy.
I was mainly playing Command & Conquer Red Alert for like 12-hour sessions straight. Such a cool kid. Anyway, so he also as a kid,
That's what you wrote on your own high school yearbook about
Exactly.
yourself, right?
I completed Command & Conquer Red Alert 15 times this year.
Such a cool kid.
Such a cool kid. He campaigned when he was younger for Art Hanger, and Art Hanger was like a really controversial member of the Reform Party. He believed in corporal punishment, and he was going to go on a research trip to Singapore to investigate how they used caning to deter crime, and had to cancel his trip after public outcry and criticism. But he was one of Pierre Poilievre's mentors when he was a young teenager.
So this guy's a real fucking treat.
I kind of feel like he's been hanging out with the wrong crowd though, because we'll get on to that. He's been hanging out with Jason Kenney and the man who wants to whip everyone. So it's not a good start.
It's like a Batman villain.
Exactly. Professor Whip.
There you go. I was just going to call him the Whipper. But
The whip at least better. Pow. Snap. Ouch. Biff.
oh, like I was watching Game of Thrones, and there's like three.
That's just end the
sisters-
story there. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're done.
Yeah.
No, I was watching Game of Thrones and these three badass assassin sisters. I think they were sisters. I forget everybody's names. And, one of them had like I'm making up the weapons. One of them had like a scimitar. The other one had like, I don't know, a bag of hammers or something. And then the third one had a whip. And they were going around and they were attacking people together. And I couldn't help but think, a whip is a really shitty weapon to try to defend or kill someone. Like it's a shitty weapon because it's
you got to use it like Indiana Jones to swing across like
right. Yeah,
crevices
that's neat. Yeah, sure, do that. But like to use it as a weapon is stupid. Catwoman used it as a deterrent and to swing from places to places. But to use it as an actual fucking weapon is dumb. So let's pit someone with, a sword or a knife, a sharp knife against someone with a whip. Now, if that is a whip master, maybe they can take out your eye. Maybe. I don't fucking know. You'd have to be a real fucking whip master, right? To do that.
Everything you're talking about is based in fiction.
Yeah, I know.
So it doesn't matter.
You
can just make up your own rules, Jesse.
Just hear me out.
There's dragons in that book.
So one person's charging.
You're worried about the realism of using a whip as a weapon, and there's literally people riding around on dragons.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. That's a totally different topic. So just thinking like how easy it would be if people are charging at one another. One's got a knife, one's got a whip. The guy with the whip, whips you. Ow, fuck, that hurt. That's going to leave a mark. And you just keep moving forward and then stab the person. Like that's, whip is dumb.
We'll just brain them with a rock.
I just really wanted to get that out there in the universe that a whip is a dumb weapon to be fighting to the death with. It's a real great weapon if you want to make someone hurt real bad. Like
I think you were probably thinking about what looks good, better on camera, what's a bit more exciting. Just watching someone get stabbed in the eye is probably not as fun as seeing someone like beat off 30 people with a whip.
Could you say that again, please?
Seeing someone stabbed in the eye isn't
slow down this last part.
Isn't as exciting as watching someone beat off 30 people with a whip.
So, you've been in Canada for how many years now, and you don't know what that term means here?
Whip.
No, not whip.
People.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Should we move on? Do you want to move on?
Let's move on, yeah.
Anyway, so
images are popping into my head and I can't get them out. Just 30 people being nope.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, when in 1999,
I can't get it out of my head, Reese. Stop it. Give me different images.
Also, to go back to what I just said and didn't mean to, it sounds like it'd be really painful. Anyway,
why are you doing that? I'm just asking you to help me get it out of my head, not back into my head and make it worse.
Anyway, so Pierre, he either did or didn't win $10,000 writing an essay. I found places that said he did win 10,000, and places said that he didn't, but he did enter. I was
looking like you're a fantastic historian, Reese.
I know. I can say with 100% certainty he either did or didn't. So, so he contributed an essay called "Building Canada Through Freedom," and it started as Prime Minister I would, and it was for Magna International. And he wrote, "Although we Canadians seldom recognize it, the most important guardian of our living standards is freedom. The freedom to earn a living and share in the fruits of our labor with loved ones. The freedom to build personal prosperity through risk and strong work ethic. The freedom of thought and speech, the freedom to make personal choices, and the collective freedom of citizens to govern their own affairs democratically." So this was him as like when he's a teenager, writing using the word freedom at least 15 times.
Well, you got a word count, man. You got to stretch that shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And he used to work on the phone bank to raise donations for the Canadian Alliance, which is another conservative party, and they dubbed themselves Fight Club, and they used their phone bank data as ammunition, and their phones were their guns.
Is that what they told themselves? Okay.
So when they got donations, did that mean they felt like they'd executed people? I don't know. It's a weird thing to.
It is weird, man.
Yeah. But he set up a company called 3D Contact Inc., which was a polling and consulting firm, and they represented clients like Stephen Harper, Stockwell Day, and Ted Morton, who were all conservative politicians. And then at the age of 25, he was elected as an MP at the age of 25.
Okay.
It's pretty young.
I guess. I don't know.
What were you doing when you were 25?
Playing Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo.
I was playing Command & Conquer Red Alert 12 hours a day. Actually, do you know what? No, I didn't. I'd already produced and co-directed my first TV series when I was 25. So
wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
All he did was become elected as an MP. Anyway, so he as a young MP, he was heavily influenced by Stephen Harper, who was the Prime Minister of the day, and Jason Kenney. And although he was voted hardest working MP a few times in a row, and also he was voted the biggest gossip and the biggest self-promoter. And he was really, really loyal to Harper, to the point where it was almost like he would attack all of the government's enemies like with such aggression, even though, regardless of how influential or weak they were, and he would just be quite, not even based. He wouldn't even attack them on good merit, on arguments that had merit. He would like accuse them of harboring terrorist sympathizers and just crazy stuff that was just attack. So he was kind of like Harper's like little attack dog, and he would say outrageous things just to impress Stephen. Do you hear what I said, Stephen? Do you like me now? That kind of thing.
Is that your impression of him?
Yeah, like, hi Stephen, will you be my friend?
It's your best Canadian accent yet.
Yeah. But then also he attack, and this is the thing, just randomly attacking people who don't necessarily warrant attacks, and not even people in politics. So he denounced a retired general called Romeo Dallaire, who served heroically during the Rwanda massacres. For some reason, he thought he should attack him. And also, he attacked a Oscar-nominated filmmaker for funding Sarah Polley, for funding purposeless pornographic or ultra-violent films. However, none of her films have any content resembling what he described.
Right? Well, I don't know. I can think of one. No, I think that's.
Do you know her work?
It wasn't. I know. I think that's a film with Sarah Polley. I think it is. I'd have to look it up. I saw it in TIFF a long time ago. It was like there was like a threesome at the end of the movie that was for like 5 seconds. So, probably not what he's talking.
Just
about.
A quickie. Okay,
and that might not even be her movie. I could be completely wrong about that.
It's just all a blur. You're too busy playing Mortal Kombat. That's the problem. And there was a quote from an anonymous Conservatives former staffer. So take it with I say pinch of salt, grain of salt, because it's just a rumor, and it was his unlikability is so reliable as to actually constitute a talent of its own. If one could monetize irritation, that was the quote.
If one could monetize irritation,
yeah.
All right.
He also said, like, I think one of the things I'd say about him is that a lot of young people seem to like him because he's talking about cost of living, he's talking about all these things, but
right, of course.
But he's very much influenced by Ronald Reagan. So his whole thing of like, market forces that have caused a lot of the crisis with things not being affordable. A lot of his politics don't fall in line with, necessarily the tools to fix it. But he does seem to be, because he's young and angry, and there's a lot of young angry people. He's drawing a crowd. He's definitely good at what he does in terms of like getting people riled up and doing it. So I know we're kind of like pulling funny stuff from his life, but he does seem to be quite effective at least making a certain section of society quite angry and motivated at the moment. So, but also his attitude against Aboriginal people is interesting.
Oh God!
So he said he believes that they need to learn the value of hard work more than they need financial compensation. He said in 2008.
Someone needs to slap this man upside the head with a fish.
He said, this is his quote, "Now, along with this apology comes another $4 billion in compensation for those who partook in the residential schools over those years. Now, some of us are starting to ask, are we really getting value for all this money? And is more money really going to help solve the problem? My view is that we need to engender the values of hard work and independence and self-reliance. That's the solution in the long run. More money will not solve it." That's his quote, which, I mean, independence and self-reliance is not going to get people fresh water. You do need to spend money on that.
Right.
There is some stuff.
Honestly, I don't know nearly enough about that to make any kind of comment on it whatsoever. I'm just going to stay far away.
Yeah.
Other than to say
I think what he's saying is
wrong.
we should stop giving people money because we did horrible things, and that they should just work harder. I think that's what he's trying to say. But
oh yeah, that's probably no misguided at best.
Exactly. Anyway, it just seems like he doesn't really understand or care or is willing to. He's just kind of going, no, the problem with the world is everyone just needs to just work harder and be self-reliant, and do everything Stephen Harper says just so that he thinks I'm cool. And the other thing is as well is I think he's quite self-aware because he's obviously roughly our age. So he's believed to have edited his own Wikipedia. So there were edits working from an IP address that were from the House of Commons. So I think the only person interested in editing his Wikipedia in the House of Commons was him. So
that's funny.
They removed and modified comments related to his behaviour in Parliament. And also as well, he got caught up in an expenses scandal. So in May 2006...
What?
He loves Coldplay. He loves the band Coldplay.
I mean, who doesn't? Come on now.
So he accepted a ticket worth $350 in value to see the band perform in Ottawa, and because it was over the $200 maximum permitted for gifts under the code that they have to follow, it was a violation. So he later confirmed that he'd paid for his own ticket along with other entertainment expenses, including transportation and chicken fingers.
And this was a scandal, they were calling it?
It was kind of a minor one where they were like, hey, he got a free ticket and it was worth more money than he was allowed. And also,
like they were just trying to... Yeah, that doesn't sound...
But so, I mean, the thing is, would you, from everything I've talked about, would you describe him as a chicken?
100%, I would describe him as a chicken finger. Yes, and that is what he shall be known as from henceforth.
The chicken finger. It's pretty good because chickens don't have fingers, so it suits. So I was going to say, do you feel like he's a political outsider or a political insider?
No, I think he's a chicken finger. We've landed on that, and that's where we're going to stay. That's it. Would I say he's a political insider or political outsider? I don't even know what those terms mean, Reese.
Well, do you think so? He's trying to when he's trying to portray himself as an outsider because he's siding with like the rebellious truckers or so-called truckers and that movement. He's trying to make it seem like he wants to shake the system up from the outside, and that he's not. He's kind of a not your typical politician. He's like a populist. He's going to go to Ottawa and shake things up and drain the swamp, all that kind of stuff. Whereas he's actually been in politics since he was 16 years old. So he's been an MP for a long time. So although he's trying to show people that he's an outsider and he does things differently, he's literally his entire life has been part of that system.
Yeah, no, he's not like fucking Steve Jobs. He's not going to change the world, especially, he's not coming to the table with any new ideas.
No. And when he was 20, he said, politics should not be a lifelong career and elected officials should not be allowed to fix themselves in the halls of power of a nation.
Or write their own Wikipedia article.
Bear in mind, then, 22 years later, he's still an MP.
Yeah, he's addicted. This is exactly. Like it's directly tied to his ego, man. He can't stop doing this.
Do you know what? If I had $9 million, I just wouldn't give a shit anymore.
Right? Okay, it's addictive, man. And money's getting money's
go on
addictive.
Tour with Coldplay and eat chicken fingers.
You'd eat him. Just nibble on his finger. Yeah.
Exactly. What do you dip your chicken fingers in? Are you a ranch person or barbecue sauce?
Okay, we've gotten off the rails now, Reese. This is
just
not entertaining podcast material at all.
I don't know. Well, that hot wings or hot sauce YouTube channel's massive. What's wrong with us talking about dipping your chicken wings in different sauces? It could be a new sideline.
I don't know, man. Fucking
chicken fingers in different
mayo, sauces. Chipotle mayo. There you go.
Disgusting. I knew it.
You were going to say that no matter what I said. That's just on the tip of your tongue.
So do you feel like you know Pierre Poilievre, who wants to be prime minister better?
A whole lot more than I wanted to. That's for sure.
Yeah, but he could be up against Trudeau in the next election. So.
Oh God, can you imagine? Fuck. If we have a Trump on our hands.
Yeah, but he's like I said, He's he looks like the kind of person who would invest heavily in sex robots. So,
Well, then count me in. Take my vote. This is Martha. Hello. I just got her extra lube.
A lot of people call him Milhouse as well because he does look a bit like Milhouse.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Does he talk like Milhouse? Is he saying everything's turning up? What's his last name?
Poilievre.
Everything's turning up Poilievre?
I hope he does one day. That's going to be the name of this episode. Everything's turning up Poilievre.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. Okay, yeah. We got one good thing out of this episode, and it's the title.
Either that or chicken fingers. Just chicken fingers.
No, I like everything's turning up Poilievre. That's
yeah. So if you don't know anything about it, I know a lot of people who are into politics have been following like crazy because he is like
he's insane.
He's modeling himself a lot on the Trump kind of thing, so he's interested. Whereas Aaron O'Toole kind of was a bit more appealing to the center. I don't think he is.
Yeah, he just I don't know enough about either one of them, to tell you the truth.
Well, I've told you some stuff. Now you can go and do your own research and make your own informed choice.
Fuck that!
Don't believe everything I've said. I could neither confirm nor deny whether he won $10,000 in an essay writing contest in 1999. So don't believe everything I say.
What is the call to action for today, Reese?
I don't know. Go and
you never have it ready. You never
have some chicken fingers.
Never have this ready.
And take a photo of them. Have some chicken fingers. Take a photo of them. Post it, tag us, or email us with what you had and what you dipped it in.
Jesus, this is what we've devolved into. All right, there. You've heard it first, dear listener. It's a very important task in front of you, and we will rate your chicken fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, bye then.
Bye. Fucking weirdo.